Every year I spend 5 to 6 months straight abroad for my real job, ping-ponging between 4 countries. But outside of work, I of course also explore, socialize, and buy stuff, and in this video, I want to share everything I bought throughout this past half-year trip. Tokyo, first stop. And if you've been with me for a bit, you know my literal favorite brick-and-mortar store on planet Earth is the original Traveler's Factory flagship in the quaint and quiet Nakameguro neighborhood. Getting off at Nakameguro Station, taking the 5-minute walk and arriving before opening, there were already a few people waiting, and so once the doors opened, in we all went, and I can't stress how much I love this place. That said, since I come to this shop at least twice a year, nothing really jumped out at me, so I just bought 3 things as future gifts, since here at home I have a bin that's labeled last second gifts. You know, in case someone comes over during the holidays or I have a sudden thing I need to go to. Anyways, things 1 and 2 are sort of a combo as a future gift, and it's this leather and canvas pouch in this drawstring bag. Taking a look at the pouch, it's got a button closure flap with Traveler's Factory debossed in the leather, and behind it is a zippered compartment. From a travel perspective, as a gift, I can see this being quite useful, serving as potentially both a passport case and backup emergency cash wallet, all taking up very little space in a backpack or luggage. And speaking of the passport case, some folks who missed my Flight Fold Kickstarter campaign have consistently asked, and there's a limited number of each colorway available at the time of recording this video on my website linked down below. But going back on track, the last item is this lovely, very simple leather folio. It's a collab between Traveler's Factory and another Japanese brand, Butler Werner Sales, also Tokyo-based, who specialize in leather goods, and for about 2 years I've been using this guy. The folio with the airplane graphic to store the receipts for any business expenses when I'm on the road. You know, client meals, cabs, notary services, stuff like that. I keep all those receipts in here. This one though has this coffee graphic lasered onto the leather, and it's just a great feeling piece. And because I got a few things that were coffee focused, the shopkeeper at the flagship store reminded me that nearby, a mere 10-minute walk away, is the Tokyo Starbucks Roastery, with exclusive Traveler's Factory notebook collab pieces. Although I'm very indifferent to Starbucks, given how close it was, I decided to check out those collabs, and man, walking up, I could not have guessed the sheer size and scale of the building. And walking in, just look at this. I mean, the scale of the operation is genuinely astounding, and this oddly perfect blend of industrial and modern comfort design is pretty cool. Regardless, coffee wasn't my priority. Checking out the Traveler's collabs was, so I headed to the display table. They of course had a few colors of Traveler's leather notebook shells with the debossed Starbucks Reserve badge, and the closure elastic charms were Starbucks as well. Personally, I'm more than happy with my own 10-year-old setup, so I skipped those, checked out the collab bookmarking clip, sticker sets, coffee-centric washi tape, and other system decoratives, but at the end of the day, since in my real life I really used the hell out of the notebook inserts, just grabbed 1 each of the more visually interesting ones. Went to checkout, and after payment, headed out, and back here onto my desk to take a closer look. 2 for my regular size inserts, and 2 for my passport size. As you can see, for the regular size, we've got this coffee journey cover design, showing the end-to-end process from growing beans in altitude, to harvesting, to packaging, to international logistics, to roasting, to retail packaging, ending in a cup of coffee. This other regular sized one is celebrating the Nakameguro neighborhood, where both the Traveler's flagship store, as well as the gigantic Tokyo Starbucks Reserve Roastery are, with the Nakameguro dotted across the cover, and as a little slice of delight, inside the front cover is this fold-out map of the neighborhood with both spots marked. Onto the passport size one, this one here has cover that features elements of the Tokyo Roastery location, and going back to the shots I took there, the graphics on the cover show the machines and tools used to make every cup of coffee. And this passport-sized coffee journey one is actually not a notebook insert, but rather is more of a coffee passport, where every page has a clear sleeve of craft paper. So whether it's business cards for coffee shops a coffee lover visits around the world, or maybe tasting note cards, they've got a dedicated home and window to look back on. Heading out of Tokyo from Haneda International to Taipei, I always try to sit on the right side of the plane, because the flight path takes the airplane pretty much directly over Mount Fuji, which means if it's a clear day, look at this view you get. Absolutely majestic. However, on the flight, I made a serious impulse buy, and it's this pack of 2 keychains. I got attracted to them because I like that they are mini airplane seatbelts. As someone who flies about 12 to 16 flights with EVA Air every single year, I've grown to love them, and really like that the mini seatbelt buckles have their subtle word mark on them, and as a frequent flyer, also love that they have the arrivals and departure icons on here. But I gotta say, I think I would have much preferred that these sections were left empty and minimal. Regardless, the mechanism is very satisfying, both from how perfectly it mirrors an actual airplane seatbelt in function, but also in that distinctly satisfying click, and the spring to detach has got nice resistance too. But in Taipei, I hit up my favorite stationery shop called Tools to Live By. A couple of years ago, I picked up this tiny pair of scissors, which has been pretty useful just hanging out in my desk drawer here at home. And I caught wind that their gold-toned ones were in stock, so headed over to grab that. I also picked up their own Traveler's Notebook regular size compatible inserts as well. But back to the scissors, before unboxing, I gotta say the orange packaging is beautiful to me from a graphic design perspective. And on the opening flap, we can see that the store has collaborated with a local manufacturer bearing the Made in Taiwan mark. And sliding them out, yeah, these are nice. Real nice. And as you can see, just like the blackout ones I got last time, just this subtle tools to live by word mark on one of the blades, and the silicone-like comfort guards to take the edge off during use, preventing bare metal contact with the fingers. Now, this was all months ago, and still in Taipei, I was in the city in the week of Lunar New Year celebrations and got totally pulled into the hype. And visiting one of the many dedicated Adidas Originals stores, picked up the Chinese New Year Tang jacket exclusive. It's one of those things where now I'm home, I'm like, why did I buy this? But despite being made of a polyester spandex blend, the hand feel really is reminiscent of suede, yet with a shockingly large amount of stretch from the spandex, and I quite like this muted, almost vintage looking blue. And of course, really like those Chinese style button knots forming the buttons. After all, that's what made these jackets popular. Now, back to Tokyo, virtually all my client and vendor meets are conveniently along the Yamanote line, the subway line that forms a loop around Tokyo proper. And as someone who's had to visit Tokyo several times a year for over a decade, I've grown quite fond of that iconic silver and lime green livery, so much so that a few years ago I picked up this model Yamanote train car at some random toy shop in Tokyo. But this trip at one of the most iconic everything stores, Hands Shibuya, which sadly is slated to close permanently in November 2026 after 48 years, I found this handy transit card wallet. Made by Agility Japan, this one's got an awesome leather foundation, but it's sporting the Yamanote line colors, and in being a product license from JR East, also has a Japan Rail brand mark on the front. With a card slot on either side, if I lived in Japan, I would definitely use this. Anchoring the circle beaner to my bag, and then with its self-retracting line, be able to tap in and out of the transit system without the extra step of going into my wallet or pocket. Love this thing, and again, with 2 card slots, I could have my Suikai on one side and my Passmo in the other. Both with NSC pass-through, plus with rapid detachment of the leash setup, means it can just as easily be pocketed as well. Being in Shibuya, I made my typical visit to the store Loft, and for this, if you kick it with me for a bit, you may have seen on my Instagram stories more than 2 years ago that I saw this collection of ceramic drinkware all done as vintage robots. And honestly, I'd gone back to see them every time I returned to Tokyo, but this time they happened to be on sale. So I picked up these two, one regular single cup 250 ml and the other at half capacity. I've been using them ever since I got back home to Toronto last month and absolutely love them. Now, I'm not knowledgeable about ceramics and pottery, but they feel great. Smooth kilned texture on the inside, while the exteriors retain a rough hand feel that gives awesome grip. Plus, I just really like the proportions of the robot's features, and the specific shades of brown just look great to me. Now, from Tokyo, I headed back to Jakarta, and if you're into everyday carry stuff, there is a literal entire mall that's for everyday carry items. It's called Seneyang Trade Center, and walking in, you can see that it's a mid-sized multi-floor place, and every floor has numerous stores. And it just feels like a building catering completely to a stereotypical dude's interests. I mean, there's collectible vintage toys, vinyl records, camera shops, but more than 80% are shops selling camping, tactical, and of course, everyday carry gear, including a few watchmakers doing real, proper mechanical movement maintenance as well. They do not really focus on local brands, but instead sell store after store, floor after floor, many of the most well-known EDC brands, from knives like Benchmade, Spyderco, Kaiser, to Leatherman multi-tools, to Nightcore and Olight flashlights, stuff like that. And although my own EDC kits both for travel and at home are perfect and need no upgrades, I did just get sucked into the fact that an entire building for everyday carry exists. So I decided to grab a flashlight for the workshop back home. If you've seen the Metal Fab Shop videos, you'll know that UV flashlights are crucial, necessary for us to check the integrity of welds, so I picked up this X5 by Woobin. It's a candy bar 3-in-1, and I chose it for the workshop for a few reasons. One, it of course serves our primary need of having this switch that toggles over to the UV light. Again, most people probably have no need for one, but bring my passport and some currencies over, you can see why some industries require them. Second, the regular torch mode cycles through 5 outputs, from a very useful 1 lumen moonlight mode, to a 50 lumen low mode, a 150 lumen medium, a 350 lumen high mode, up to a 1300 lumen turbo, and a 1000 lumen strobe. I also like that it has this slide to expose USB Type-C charging port, but also has a user replaceable battery, which means unlike so many of today's flashlights where if the battery shorts, You're basically left with a paperweight. Despite this being a proprietary battery, at least the option exists to replace it. Obviously, if you have a torch that works for you, there's no need to buy another one, but if you happen to be in the market for a versatile flashlight with this particular blend of features, you can find the Wupin X5 linked down in the description below. And hey, the things in this video were just the things that truly 100% I picked up for myself in this half-year trip. However, I also did challenge myself to build out an entire everyday carry kit in each city, and Jakarta to me was the most surprising one. And if you're interested in seeing more of this hidden gem of a city and the complete everyday carry kit, you will definitely want to watch this video right up here. If you're feeling lucky though, this video down here is the one for you. I'll leave them both on screen for a few seconds so you can choose which one to watch next, but while you're deciding, if you have value, consider subscribing and hitting that bell so you'll be notified the moment new videos just like this one drop.